it's also height kind of based, but it all kind of wraps around. So let me kind of explain. Inside guys can punish you down low, right? But they're going to be less likely to drain threes and be really fast-paced perimeter scores, right?
Sure.
So as you're creating these, and vice versa for outside guys, you know, you're not going to have them out rebounding people. You know, one thing that was really interesting about the body scanning this year is it took into effect wingspans. And this is the first sports game you are actually truly going to feel and see those wingspans take effect. And listen, don't take it from me. You can talk to the guys who, of course, played the game and have their reviews. You can ask them about wingspans. Ask them about what happened when you had a point guard there next to a forward or a center going for a rebound, right? Like in the real NBA,
brought it up
those
in
guys.
his video, by
Correct.
the way.
Yeah.
He brought up if a big guy goes and tries to back down a little guy.
Yep.
You feel the difference.
You feel a mouse in the house, right? The post game's completely been rewritten.
Yep.
That was a big focus. Shout out to Zach over there
mean mismatch,
and the team.
Right? All of these mismatches are way more kind of obvious in this year's game.
All positions also have height caps now. We listen, we get it. Like, we don't just want, and this is all positions. I don't want to just kind of refer to the small forward thing, but I think it's a kind of a popular thing
I think it's worth
in our
calling out.
community. So I just want to say,
have cheese all over
7-foot small forwards. That cheese is gone, ladies and gentlemen. No more 7-foot small forwards. In fact, we'll get into these caps in just a few minutes, but that is over.
Eat this cheese after?
You can eat it. You can feel free to. I don't really want the cheese.
I mean, I was going to make myself...
Although I will say, if you're a sim kind of guy, I think you're going to eat that cheese right up. See what I did there? Anyway, for example, here's the thing, though. The taller that you are, you're going to have advantages, but you're also going to have disadvantages, right? So in my thinking, you don't want to just say, I want to be a tall power forward, right? Well, I'm going to have some advantages to that, maybe rebounding, but I'm also going to have some disadvantages like dribbling.
This is extremely strict. We're not trying to be flimsy about this. I think in years past, things, generally you want to call out balance, but we're really there's been so much play testing that's been done on this stuff, and we're looking for those combinations that make a lot of sense. You're about to probably reference a few of them, but a tall point guard, a tall person in general shouldn't be as fast as a smaller person.
So various attributes cap out at a lower number the taller you are. So let's just say dribbling, right? You're not going to be able to dribble like a point guard if you're taller, right? There's going to be some give and take, right? On the other end, some of your attributes actually cap out higher the taller you are. So for example, one of the examples we have, it helps to be tall, rebounding, post hook, blocks, right? Pretty simple. A big guy plays like a big guy. It hurts to be tall, speed, acceleration, and ball handling. And one thing I want to say about that is speed, as you probably have seen and heard, we really took speed. And we didn't want, again, those bigs that were kind of just like jack of all trades and super fast as Kyrie or point guards as some of the smaller guys that you saw last year that kind of created an imbalance. No more of that cheese anymore.
Can we explain what you mean by jack of all trades? Because when somebody says jack of all trades, they mean they can do everything decently.
Superb.
No. Jack of all trades means they can do everything decently. But you're talking about everything superb. You are. Because
I'm talking about everything, doing
last
everything.
Year, you could shoot like KD.
That's right.
You could handle like Kyrie.
That's
you
right.
could, do all of this. You could rebound like Dennis Rodman. There was this just uber super players.
Yeah.
And that's not sim.
Yeah.
That's just not. That's not how the game is played. There are so few of these once in a generation players, and even if you are once in a generation, you're not good at everything.
That's right.
I just wanted to clear up the jack of all trades thing, because jack of all trades means you're good at everything.
In the NBA world, I call it like
everything.
like you can create
specialists.
This right. There's that.
You can't be a specialist.
There's no demigods in NBA 2K16, right? Like that hurt my heart as somebody who's uber competitive and like really wants to have balance in mind. But it gave us an opportunity to learn from our mistakes and really get out there and create this ultimate basketball simulation, not only with NBA players who have kind of their stats and attributes put into the game that are reflected from those players in real life, but also when you create your My Players, right? Because we want 2K Pro-Am to be that competitive stage where you are actually showing off, right? We're thinking about this thing. You don't bring out a mode like 2K Pro-Am if you don't balance out the My Player creation caps and the height restrictions and also the attribute restrictions, right? If I'm a point guard, I'm going to have great handles, right? If I'm a center, not so great. If I'm a point guard, not going to necessarily be able to out-rebound centers, right? I might get one once in a while, but listen, I'm a point guard. I have my strengths. Rebounding is probably not one of them.
That's how the association works.
That's right.
How our game should work.
That's why you have positions, right?
Yeah.
You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We also, I mean, you're talking about Pro-Am and all of the
Park as well.
Park.
Right.
There will be a lot more role assignment. Like, it's not just about what you're, we don't want 5 demigods on the court.
Yeah.
We want people that are filling the role within a center and all the various positions. Right. Obviously, there's going to be scorers. Everyone wants to score. You are a ball hog, so you.
No, I'm a shooter.
You're a shooter.
I'm a scorer.
But not, and most people are.
But see, here's the nice thing. When I go out and I'm like, Ronnie, we need to find a point guard that can give us the ball, right?
I prefer that.
And that's the great thing about the game, though. You're going to have to give up certain things so you can be the best player at that position.
Yep.
And I think we've seen that with players. And now you have these attributes, like I mentioned, that are going to help that. Now, height is also more restrictive, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, right? For example, 7-foot small forwards, think of the past. So we do have the height caps for each position, so grab your pens and papers and notes, and I'm going to actually give you these height restrictions on how you create your players in my career this year. So your height restrictions are as follows. From point guard, 5'7" to 6'7". Shooting guard.
Real quick, before you go on. One thing, just taking that example, point guard 5'7" to 6'7". There were point guards that were shorter than 5'7". In the history of the NBA. There were point guards that were taller than 6'7". There's one in the league right now, Sean Livingston, who's taller than 6'7". They exist, but they are so rare that we wanted to be simulation and confine
the taller you go, it's going to fluctuate some of your attributes. So you have to keep that in mind.
Is going to be one of the slowest point guards in the game.
Shooting guard, 5'10" to 6'8". Small forward, 6'3" to 6'10". Power forward, 6'5" to 7 foot, and center, 6'8" to 7'3". So we have these different various heights, and there's going to be pros and cons to what heights you are, right? What position you are, and also, the kind of play style you are. So what we really wanted to do is have these these 3 main scoring styles: inside, outside, and balanced. And based on that, and based on your height, it's going to really, the attributes will cap out differently based on your height, right? So it makes sense for that position, for what kind of scoring player that you are, right? And also defensively and stuff, all that's factored in. But we really wanted to make it to where you can create the best player, the most simulation-esque player at that position, right? Not having this uber amazing, right? Like we got that feedback, we got it. We don't like demigods. We don't like 7-foot small forwards that have handles like Kyrie and that can shoot threes like Dirk and that can, or be a sharpshooter like Ray Allen. Also have the handles. Now bigs are going to play like bigs. One thing that I love about NBA 2K16, and again, shout out to the amazing